So in my opinion, the Milwaukee Bucks are one of the more interesting teams in the NBA right now because I think they have a lot of potential, but it hasn't worked out yet for them. I mean, this season they were one of the worst offensive teams in the league, and they were mediocre on defense. And when we look at the roster, I mean, first there's Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is going to be playing point guard for them moving forward. He was fantastic for them at the point guard position towards, I think, the last month of the season. I would much rather have him than Michael Carter-Williams because Giannis' his size and his athleticism and his ability to put the ball on the floor and be a natural playmaker are all there. Next, he's going to have to learn how to be an actual point guard and make sure the offense is running correctly. But as of right now, his ability to push the ball down floor and just be kind of like a Russell Westbrook type in the sense of like, well, the offense isn't running perfectly, but I can beat my defender and I can kick it out to a shooter. Hopefully he develops the other assets of being a point guard as well. There's Chris Middleton, who's a fantastic shooter and could average over 20 points per game in the NBA for a long time. I think he averaged like 18 this year. So that's a really good backcourt. Jabari Parker is interesting. I think Jabari, he tore his ACL in the middle of his rookie season. He came back this year. I feel like he hasn't had the perfect opportunity to be completely healthy and completely comfortable for the Milwaukee Bucks just yet. I think going into his third season, I think this is going to be the real breakout year for Jabari. He does have to improve on his three-pointer because, he doesn't really attempt three-point shots at the moment. He takes less than one a game, so hopefully he can just be at least decent from there to give the Bucks some spacing, because I think the reason why the Bucks were so bad on offense this year, the shooting was tough to come by. It was Michael Carter-Williams, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jabari all in the starting lineup. None of them can hit threes. Now you've fixed that a little bit by moving Giannis to the point, telling Michael Carter-Williams to go F himself, and then having Jabari Parker, move to the small forward position, maybe? And I think the signing of Mirza Teletovic for them this offseason is going to be huge, and I think he's going to provide them with a lot of really good shooting and floor spacing for them. The question is the front court, though. Greg Monroe, I don't know if he fits with the Bucks for a few different reasons. Number one, he's not a very good defensive player. He's kind of like a Jahlil Okafor, and when you see people talk about Okafor, they say he's not really a modern-day center. Monroe's kind of similar. He's not really going to scare you in the pick and roll. He's not bad from mid, but he's not super threatening from there either. He made less than one a game from 15 feet. Not very athletic, so he can't help you out too much when it comes to pick and roll defense and help defense. He's mainly just a guy who posts up around the basket. And I don't know if this Milwaukee Bucks team is a team that's going to want to slow down and dump it off to Monroe in the post, because I think this Bucks team should be moving fast. They should be jetting up and down the floor with Giannis at the point, Middleton at the wing, Teletovic on the other wing. And as for the half-court offense, this is just something I thought of. You could have Giannis bring the ball up and kick it out to Jabari on the wing, and then Giannis goes into the post, and then Jabari gives it up to him. This is kind of like what Golden State does with Draymond Green in the post. And then you could have Middleton, Jabari, and Teletovic setting a series of screens for each other. Hopefully one of them gets open. Giannis, because he's a great playmaker and he's tall as hell, can kick it out to one of them on the perimeter. I don't know where Greg Monroe really fits into that dynamic. I think part of me believes that the Bucks would be better off trading Monroe for something and having John Henson start, because Henson is a very good defensive player and he's a bit more athletic than Monroe, and I feel like he could fit into what the Bucks do a bit more. There is a belief that they're going to be starting Monroe and John Henson, because the only other power forward they really have besides Teletovic, who's not that good defensively, is Thon Maker, and he's a rookie, and rookies don't move the scale when it comes to wins and losses that much, if at all, so I don't think he can make a huge impact for you as a starter. Henson and Monroe together, I don't know. I like the idea of one being offensive and one being defensive, but I don't know if they play off of each other really well. I think they could just bog down the Bucks down low. I think Giannis Antetokounmpo should have all the room in the world to operate, to attack the basket and kick out to people, which is why I really like the lineup of Giannis, Middleton, Jabari, Teletovic, and then John Henson. Because Henson's better than Monroe defensively, and Teletovic allows you to space the floor, which are the two problems with the Milwaukee Bucks right now. They also signed Dellavedova, who can hopefully help them with some shooting off the bench. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are in a really interesting spot. I think it could go one of two ways. I think we're going to be hoping on Jabari Parker to get a bit better from three. Hopefully Giannis can just continue what he was doing towards the end of last season, which I am pretty damn confident he can do. I just don't think Greg Monroe is the right fit for the Bucks. I think Greg Monroe is a valuable player. I don't think it's for the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, where can I see Milwaukee ending up in the playoffs? I don't know. The East is relatively competitive, with Cleveland still being by far the best team. I mean, you're looking at Toronto, Boston, Detroit, Indiana. They're probably going to be 2 through 6. Like, it's tough in the Eastern Conference this year if you're not the Cavs. Above all else, Giannis might insert himself as one of the best players in the Eastern Conference this year and make the All-Star team. But it's going to be tough. The East is pretty damn competitive under the 1 seed, so I don't know. I could see him getting as high as 4 or as low as 7. It's going to be weird for them, but I do think they're very interesting.